Wish a scam? No Wish?
I do know of Wish. I've never ordered anything off it. I would assume it's a scam.
It can't be real.
I feel like everything I've seen is a scam.
How are they the official sponsor of the Los Angeles Lakers for several years?
They are?
They were, yeah.
Well, apparently, if you scam enough,
Yeah.
you can scam your way to
You
the top.
scam your way to the top.
That's hilarious.
Well,
that was an unrelated, unexpected.
I don't think we're going to include that in the intro. Welcome to All This Noise.
Okay.
Chad Kenney here.
Hi, it's Valerie. Hello, it's me.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay, wait. I want to ask you about. I don't know when this is coming out, but currently, as we sit here recording this, why are you laughing?
Well, because I just thought about how you have this nice, even color to you because you were in Europe.
Yeah, because I'm if you're watching, I'm much tanner than I used to be because I did just come back from Europe, and Chad's really.
And then Jose's like, "Man, you're still white."
Yeah, you're still pale.
Even though I was
you were
at
hard
summer for 2 days, but that's because
you had lots of sunblock on.
We care about that stuff now.
Yeah, because
we care about that.
We're at the age where we care about skincare. No, but okay, tell me about hard summer though. Besides your sunblock.
Well, we all know that Europe is the better story, so we're saving that for last.
I'll start.
No.
Do you want me to start?
I'll give you my hard summer recap real quick.
First.
It was back at Exposition Park in the Coliseum grounds.
Everyone was excited about the EDC LA throwback.
It was, yeah, and as someone who was there at EDC 2010, it was cool to see that come back.
Did you get flashbacks?
A little bit, yeah, and
cool.
good flashbacks.
Good.
Nice, hearty,
rave
wholesome rave vibes. Cool to see that new generation getting to have it for themselves in LA.
Yeah, put those steps in, kids.
Exactly. Yeah.
It looked huge.
It was, it was really impressive. One thing I will say is that it was really cool how they utilized both of the sports arenas right there. So the Coliseum and the formerly Bank of California Stadium, where the purple stage was. So we checked out Bicep yesterday.
Nice.
And the VIP area is actually the ground level lounge for LAFC.
Cool.
So it was really nice. And you're standing on the field.
That is nice.
It's just a cool experience. I think they did a really good job. Obviously the lineup was really solid. And one of the people on the lineup yesterday, Wuki, is our guest today.
I know.
And
I'm so excited.
We'll talk about him in a sec. But how was Europe?
Europe was great. I started my Euro adventure at Tomorrowland, which was super fun because I had never been. I feel like for most ravers, it's a bucket list festival,
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got to see it at least once. And I will say it lives up to the hype. It's crazy how they produce that festival.
It seems like a friend of mine, Tucker Jericho, he said that after going to Tomorrowland, it just puts everything else to shame over here.
Yeah, I best describe it as a combination of Disneyland meets Outside Lands meets EDC.
Nice.
It's pretty impressive. They build, I'm sure people have seen the photos of the main stage by now. It's this crazy castle. Yeah. And I will say I always pick partying or festivaling or raving in nature over a parking lot. So I feel like that's always how Europe has this beat in America. Because you can only have that much space in the U.S. when it's either a parking lot or a racetrack.
Absolutely.
EDC, so
we're glad to have you back.
Thanks.
We'll talk a little bit more about your other adventures maybe on another Val Chad episode.
Yeah, I have thoughts. I went to Ibiza too. We have thoughts, Chad. So we'll save that for another episode. Let us know if you want to hear that episode.
I stopped thinking.
Okay.
And my life
summer. Chad
my
has
life is so
thinking.
much better as a result of just not thinking.
I love it.
Okay, I had to think a little bit though because we just talked to our homie Wuki who just came in.
It was a fun chat. He's a fun guy, I will say.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
He's,
fun career, fun music.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah. And Wuki's been around for a minute, been someone that Brownies Lemonade we've worked with a lot.
Brownies pal.
Mm-hmm. I did reference a photo of him famously surfing on one of our inflatable lemons at Time Nightclub in Costa Mesa. Iconic. But Wuki has been around in different iterations of music projects throughout, electronic music's. But also his first project was a band.
Yeah, which he talks about.
Yeah.
Gives us a little insight on his early music career. And he's big on social media, too. He's really captured the essence of being a producer on TikTok and where it can take you, which we also talked to him a little bit about.
Many of you know him from his Wuki Leaks and the Beats I Can't Release series on IG and his TikTok stuff and stuff on Reels. But just really interesting to just hear some like inside, knowledge from someone like him, and we really enjoyed this chat.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All the stories.
Can you tell us a little bit about the hat?
This is the U in my Wookiee name.
Mm-hmm.
I know Jack U might have done it first, but they don't exist now. So,
so you own it now.
I own it now.
Yeah.
And and then the mushroom hat is the toadstool hat. It's a mushroom hat.
I'm obsessed with the mushroom hat.
Yeah.
I love Toad, and it reminds me of Toad.
Me too. I'm kind of like obsessed with Nintendo stuff.
Are you?
Yeah, I've been like, I'm like an 80s kid, kind of. I'm a little older, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Tail end in the 80s. I'm not that old.
Like chill.
But you experienced the 90s and it's like full force.
Well, and I'm the youngest of 2 kids, so of 3 kids, so they had
Just forgot a sibling.
Yeah, there's one more, yeah.
So they had like the first Nintendo, Atari,
Yeah.
so I got to like experience all that stuff.
Were they older brothers or sisters or mix?
Older, one sister, she's the oldest. My brother, he's the middle.
Cool.
He is, pretty well known for doing these edits, and a lot of times he'll incorporate some very good, next level Super Mario references.
I did notice that a lot of the video game influence, so that makes sense. That
there's the Nintendo music is some of the best music.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's so dope.
I fully agree.
Koji Kondo.
Yeah, Koji Kondo. He puts like a little theme of his like hidden in all the video games. It's like a little Easter egg from back then. But yeah, it's there's just so much there with just like that kind of music. Although I do feel like I'm one of the only people who just likes listening to like the original 16-bit.
Oh,
what are you playing this in the car?
Just like alone driving to it.
Music.
Wow, I love that image of Chad driving.
I've done it before with a car full of people. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like,
I would enjoy that. I personally would really enjoy that.
Did you see the Super Mario movie?
I did.
Yeah.
I was excited to see that movie.
I thought they actually did it pretty well.
Me too.
Yeah, I
think they did it justice. And I think I like this conversation because I recently, from TikTok, the place where I learn all the things now, I learned not only is the music amazing, but there's like some really interesting stuff about what the characters say that I didn't realize was related back to like Japanese and language. So one of the examples was Mario, how he says, "It's a me, a Mario." Apparently in Japanese, and correct me if I'm wrong because I don't speak Japanese, but "it's a me" means like something in like it's like in Japanese he's saying like I am Mario or something, or Super Mario. That's what he's saying.
Okay.
He's like Super Mario.
Yeah, I can't. I can't.
But then in English it sounds like "it's a me Mario," so that's how it turned into "it's me Mario."
Okay.
So that's my fun fact for the day.
I love that. And if you go back on TikTok, there are 20 hours of just Easter eggs from that movie alone.
I love it.
But yeah, Wookie, thank you for joining us.
Of course, man. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Fresh off of Hard Summer.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know when this is going to air, but just so you know, it
Yeah.
was yesterday you were performing on the Harder stage.
Yeah, man. It was really fun. It's incredible crowd. I can't believe they were going that hard in the heat, but
No.
yeah, it was fun, man.
It wasn't, comparatively, you've been to a few other Hards. It was pretty good.
True.
Weather-wise.
True.
Weather-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, not as hot as previous Hards.
Well, Hard 2018, he came up for the Brownies Lemonade All-Stars set.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And
That
that
was like the first. I think it was the first time I played hard, actually.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was you and Mern.
Yeah.
And
That was awesome.
It was so fun. It was funny. It was like my lifelong dream to play Hard Summer, like on one of the stages. We played at 2 p.m. on the Harder stage. There were 10,000 people
Yeah,
there.
it was packed.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were just, it was just the best time. I'll always remember that. And it's just fond memory.
I wish I could go back and listen to that because I don't even remember like what we would have played.
Oh, I got it recorded. I will send
I'm
it
sure
to you.
I probably played like. Oh, really?
Yeah, I got a recording of it.
Like the whole thing.
The whole thing.
No way. Oh, dude.
We'll-
You
That's
ask and you
awesome.
shall
We'll
receive.
jam
you know?
offline.
Oh,
my
that's
God.
sick. I can't wait to listen to
But yeah, so going up there solo, playing a full Wookiee set, what was that like?
that. Dude, it was great. I feel like it was really perfect for my time right now and like what I got going on. People are digging the houseier vibes.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, yeah, just so blessed to do this. I'm like, it's the best job in the world. I love it. It's so fun.
It's an okay job.
And well, and yesterday was really special because everyone was there, man. It was so fun. We were
Yeah.
hanging out, GTA, Gesture. Those are like my boys. I've been boys with them forever.
Mm-hmm.
So many people are at my set too. Disco Lines was back there. Chill. Yeah, everybody. It was so fun. It was just so cool to have everybody in one spot too. It was like rarely. I feel like that was the most homies I've had in one spot in a long time at festivals. So it
Yeah.
was sick.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling.
That is part of the reason why I like going back to LA. Hard Summer coming back to LA, it kind of just like made it a little bit more convenient for everyone. But that did feel like a celebratory thing. Like
sure,
when we were
yeah.
at the Skrillex set, you know,
Yeah,
kind of felt like
yeah,
that. I don't know
yeah.
if you felt the same way.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I want to talk a little bit about, you were mentioning, you know, the houseier sound that you've been putting music out with. Tell me a little bit about what that's been like, and like incorporating that into the sets and all that.
Yeah, I mean, so if you've been following my career, you know, I've always made house too.
Yeah.
I actually started out making like booty breaks.
You kind of make everything.
Yeah,
right?
I've always kind of like made everything.
I remember the first
Yeah.
Wuki stuff I heard.
Yeah, and I
Booty
made a lot of
breaks.
trap.
Yep.
I used to do a lot of stuff with B&L.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, so I've always made house, and I've always loved house. It's what got me into dance music to begin with, like Blog House and Daft Punk and
Yep.
shit. Like I saw a live in Coney Island
Whoa.
when I was like
Whoa.
18. I just turned 18,
Nice.
and I think that's when I like decided I like really want to do electronic music.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
See, not the only one. I'm telling you.
Relatable.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Really like was that so that was like a first inflection point. And then for this next generation, it was like Skrillex. But like coming off that, it was a lot of house back then. Like,
oh, for sure, yeah,
electro.
And like Chemical Brothers is like breakbeat house type shit. Prodigy.
Mhm.
That's the kind of shit I really fell in love with dance music.
Mm-hmm.
And then Blog House came around. I kind of got off topic. So like, I've always made house.
Yeah.
And I love house, and I love all the new sounds in house right now. I think it's so exciting.
Mhm.
Like, there's so many good new tracks in house music all the time. Like people kind of like doing cool new ideas all the time. I think it's the most like fresh, cool place where dance music is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like real dance music. Like there's huge stuff that like sells and stuff like that, but I don't know. There's still that's like the essence of it that I still fell in love with. So
Yeah.
to me, it's like going back to that and just focusing more on it. I'm realizing how much it could do because everyone plays house music right now, and it's played all over the world. And I've kind of like, because of this new movement, I've also fell back in love with it too. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just doing it. I can do whatever I want. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do a hip hop EP next year or something. But now it's house.
You've done so much of that already. I mean,
Yeah.
you've really kind of, you know, you've done plenty of songs that had rappers and huge artists featured on it.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of maybe where you are right now, but you know, you're in a great place where you can kind of effortlessly kind of go between those genres, and it doesn't feel weird for the Wookiee project.
Yeah.
You know, where other people, I think they're just going to always be maybe resigned to doing the same kind of music, because it is hard to just you know, be known to do house and then deviate, you know.
True, but I was talking about this last night with someone. It can also be really helpful to do one thing too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In career, like there's no one path in the music industry.
Yeah.
As far as being an artist, at least, probably anything.
I mean, I will say something that I really appreciate about your career is that you very unashamedly just have fun with the music you're making. I think either in like the social media and like TikTok videos you're making, or the actual music that you're putting out. And I like that you're bringing this up, because I think, you know, you spend a little too much time in the music industry. People get a bit jaded. People get a bit like, oh, it's not supposed to be that way or whatever. And I appreciate that you're just someone that's like, no, I have the ability to make whatever kind of music. You also have, you know, origins of liking certain kinds of music, but you can do whatever makes you happy, you know?
Totally, yeah. I mean, that's why you're supposed to be doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, music is like, I've really like fallen in love with Rick Rubin in the past couple of years, like the way he approaches music. I think it's actually helped my music so much, and he like really just it's supposed to be fun in the first place. So whatever you find fun and whatever you like, that's the best thing that's going to come out no matter what. So, you know, don't try and really, you could like have fun with trends and stuff, but you really got to like do it in a way that makes you happy too with what you're doing. So for me, that means remixing a bunch of stupid old music.
but you know, but you do it with a nice panache.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't know. I love doing it. I've always loved remixing. I've done so many remixes, so like to me, it's like I could do them really fast. Like if I have the idea, I could just like get it out real fast, and it's like really therapeutic almost just to like do it.
Yeah.
So like I'll like it could be like whatever time in the morning, like 1 a.m, and if I have the idea and I hear the song, I just have to do it really quick. And I've gotten the habit of just doing that all the time.
I mean, that's a good habit to just get it done and do it. It's a great habit.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't. We know a lot of producers. They have very peculiar work habits.
Yeah, being able that's something that a lot of people ask me, like younger producers, like how do I just can't like finish stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
So like I don't have an answer for it, but yeah, learn how to do it. It means finishing. I don't know. You got to just finish it.
Yeah. Well, it's true. I mean, and being able to finish like multiple things at the same time, because you know some people get fixated on one thing and then they finish it and then they don't have the next thing yet, you know, for the pipeline. And I think that's also another thing for producers that's tough. You know?
Well, that's what's great about remixing is you can just pick something up and do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to, like, sometimes if you have writer's block, like if you're always remixing shit, you can't really have writer's block because you always got new shit.
That's true.
New inspirations,
and then you can just take the sample out and be like, oh, I made something.
Yeah, well, I actually want to ask you about that because we've been talking a lot about mashups recently, because I think that just in the same way that house is like having, like dance music in general, we called it a bit of a renaissance, but it's kind of like a rebirth, like a starting from the origin point again. And you see mashups are kind of a 1-for-1 mashup is like kind of being discovered by a new generation, right? And yeah, but I'm interested in hearing your thoughts because edits were such a big part even 5-6 years ago of what you were doing.
Totally.
What are your thoughts on?
I think TikTok has actually been a huge reason for mashups to come back.
Yeah,
because I think maybe Gen Z didn't really know about it. Maybe maybe that's me being a boomer. But
no, I
think you're right.
they didn't know how like dope it could be. Maybe or maybe just because of the format of TikTok and like the 15-second short like video format is like. For some reason, it's done a lot for music because those little audio clips can do a lot too.
Yeah.
I've had like a few of those like get millions. A few people, a lot of people have at this point, and like still are, and it could like do so much for a song. That's what every label wants. Like when you go to a label meeting, they're like, "Yeah, we just gotta get that like viral. We just gotta make it go viral."
Well, that's an interesting switch though, because you were doing the Wuki leaks thing, and. I mean, it really were bootlegs, but then now there's like a pathway to actually making those official. Right?
Well, yeah, and I think labels are coming around. Labels are smart. There's smart people that work at all these places, and now like they'll put it out if you can. Yeah, like Benny Benassi just did one with I think the dude, he's from LA. I forget his DJ name. Yeah, but he just DJs like on the street, and he did like Satisfaction or I forget what the mashup was, but he got it signed by Benny Benassi. Oh, it was like Cinema and
classics.
Classic
combo.
Yeah, it was something like that. I forget his name. I wish I could remember his name and give him a shout out.
But they actually like went ahead and made it official.
Yeah, that's the point. And that actually happened to me too, kind of. And so yeah, I think they're coming around. It's kind of just crazy what the internet can do now. The power of the internet is like exponentially getting like if you could harness it, you could blow up in like months.
Well, the funny thing is that went from WikiLeaks and then you're doing your Beats I Can't Release series, and then now it's like beats you can actually release. Yeah, some of those beats are getting released.
Yeah.
I mean, if we end up doing an EP, which I think we might, it'll probably be called that. Yeah. Beats I Can't Release.
But it's released. Yeah. That's good. Well, I mean, I know
beats that finally got released.
Kept going and they finally arrived.
Well, it's amazing. It's amazing that you actually kind of manifested that,
Yeah.
But I would love for you to walk us through that, because as Valerie was alluding to, you did make a conscious switch to like short form being like a component of your career, and like really highlighting that you can put these kind of remixes or these two different things together. So where did that come from?
I mean, it kind of came from the pandemic. I mean, pre-pandemic, you knew I was doing like a bunch of edits and stuff. I had popped off.
Yeah, we like to party.
And so I always kind of like made these like mashup-y edit. It really started from like playing live shows.
Yeah.
Once I started DJing, I wanted to get like tools that would be like make the crowd go crazy, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it started with that and just like making edits that would do fun stuff like that. And and then pandemic hit and I had all of them like laying around. I was like, TikTok was kind of popping off, and like if you go back in my feed, you could see I didn't just start doing like beats I can't release. I was just trying like different shit on TikTok, like just putting my camera up. I mean, I don't even remember what I was doing, but
were there costume changes?
No, I didn't even try that hard yet. Me trying hard was doing the 2 shots. Me coming into the room, the roommate
directing. Yeah, you're like over here, over there,
and then the caption was literally like, well, on TikTok I call them when your roommate is making weird shit, but it's actually gas. That's what I call on TikTok, and then and then on Instagram it's beats I can't release. And I don't know why that happened, but like I got too deep, and then I just don't stop now. Like I don't know. I don't have an answer for anybody. They've asked me like, why are they called this here and that.
You're like, it's not that deep. It's just it's just for
happened.
fun.
I don't think anyone should read into any of these things. Like that's just what it's called. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
But so it did take off for you, and it was.
Yeah, I mean the first few did like all right, and then I had one that went like crazy. The Crunk in Time. I sampled Enya and Lil Jon on top. I should have played it last night. Actually, it goes off. That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Actually,
in a moment.
Side note, I think I'm gonna start requesting 1.5-hour sets.
Oh.
I really think hour sets are too short.
Yeah.
I have too much music.
Yeah, I know.
Because how many songs you end up playing in 1 hour? Like not even that many.
I missed
right?
some. There were people that wanted me to play Birds, and I kind of didn't. And yeah.
Well, I mean, it's impressive when you also, if you do, like, you know, previously you were doing a lot of sets with a lot of edits, you know, and it's a lot of songs in 1 hour, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're letting things ride out a little bit more.
Yeah, and also I just have more music to play. I feel like I can do a 3-hour set right now, like a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
You should go to Europe.
Yeah. I kind of want to. I'm jealous of the guys that have like what did Carnage do? Like a 12-hour set or something?
Oh my god.
Yeah, they start going crazy.
It's just
those
like getting
full
other people
day
off the
sets.
bill. Like, get
Oh
out
my
of here.
gosh,
Yeah, that was a huge controversy. Some people got bumped because he kept going. He was like, I try to give my audience the best experience possible by playing 5 to 6 hour sets or 8-hour sets. I'm like, dude is like playing a normal person's shift at like, you know, El Pollo Loco right now.
Oh my god, yeah, full shift. Yeah, that's so true.
But yeah, I mean, but that is actually an interesting criticism that I've seen from some people recently with American festivals, is they feel like these hour-long sets are way too short for some of the main stage acts.
So short, yeah.
At least another 15 minutes would go pretty far, honestly.
Yeah. But then there's like that double edge where I feel like some of these younger people just like literally their attention span is like all over the place. Like,
well, that's an interesting thing because
that's their problem.
I know, and I was actually gonna say like I would be curious to know. You know, I'm not a booking person, so I don't have the data to back it up. But I actually think people would be interested in seeing the artist, like maybe a few less artists, but a little longer set times. Like I feel like people are so committed to the people that they want to see at the show, right? It's like an hour and a half. That's no problem for them to commit to staying there. Maybe even 2 hours. I don't know.
It could be cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the issues that we kind of face is like you pay money to go to a festival, but there's always going to be conflicts. So are you getting like the most out of what you've kind of paid for, you know?
Yeah.
That is a good point because there were a lot of conflicts at the first day at Hard. Like like Nitty and Say My Name. Gesture and 4B there at the same time.
And of course you got to spread the crowd out because it can't all be in one place.
But I mean, I guess what's to be said, there were so many people there.
Right.
Because every stage I saw was packed.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I really liked this old festival, Treasure Island Music Festival. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Because it's Bay Area.
TBT, yeah.
Yeah. So it was in Treasure Island in San Francisco, but it was 2 stages and it just went back and forth. It was like a main stage and a second stage and it just went back and forth.
Oh.
So when this one was done, this one
Everyone
started, this changeover. Yeah, they just turned around.
Good.
It was an amazing model.
Yeah.
And that I felt like you kind of got both the intimate and the main stage experience, but you got to see everyone on the bill. I just think that now it's like really tough because you gotta appeal to it. How do you get 60 to 80,000 people to come to something? There's got to be something for everyone.
True.
Yeah.
But you were just at Tomorrowland, so I mean, in the European kind of style is like,
yeah,
it is different. What is something that you noticed?
Well, I think it's a little bit different over there because I think the crowds are a little more open to different kinds of music more so than American crowds are. Like,
Really?
I don't know if it's just because it's like it's existed in Europe for so much longer, or it feels like it's like, older people like dance music there as well, whereas here it feels like it's a young kids thing. But it's like I feel like people go and they're open to like so many different kinds of music, and you even see it on the main stage. At most like EDCs, main stage, you know exactly what kind of music you're gonna get, right? It's like a very specific genre. But at Tomorrowland, they'll have hard style on the main stage, they'll have techno on the main stage, and then they'll have like the big room, EDM, big players. But they have no problem like mixing it up, and it's not like the hard style or whatever is only early on in the day. Like they'll mix it up right in the middle, and people will just stay and they're down for it, So
Like in the same stage or in the same
same
set?
stage, same main stage.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So yeah.
Have you noticed a difference between like playing for an American crowd and then when you take it in other places?
Well, I actually haven't really done Europe as Wuki.
Mm-hmm.
I had one show in France or in Paris, and that was it though. So I haven't played there yet, but Asia I did this year again for the first time since the pandemic.
What was that like?
It's awesome, man. It's dude, yeah, Thailand was incredible. I played a festival and like this awesome after party. I wish I could remember the name of the club, but it was awesome. It's like a big one. It was cool.
They go hard in Asia.
Yeah, they do. It's like well, they still like a lot of like, well, it's kind of, I mean, just going back to what's circular.
Yeah.
Is like they kind of still like the hard techno stuff.
Yeah.
But that's actually what's coming back here, like kind of
That's true.
like the Valentino Khan type fast stuff. I mean, it's like have you heard of like I Hate Models and
9x9.
Yeah,
I think is how you say it.
Yeah.
I
Like
don't
that.
know.
I mean, there's a thin line between that and like Valentino or Keizo or even some of the shit I made that like that fast kind of like stuff. Yeah. Like, like 140, 150 BPM, 4 on the floor.
Yeah.
Like it's not that much different. It's just like come back around. But what's funny is in Asia that still goes off. So like guys, like we still get booked there. Like I'm just, the trends have changed a little bit here. They're like Asia tends to be like 1 or 2 years behind America, but house is kind of like popping off now. So like it's really coming in now. So that's cool.
Maybe the trends will start moving so fast that we'll all finally be on the same cycle. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Finally. Gotcha.
We just have a lot more choice in the United States over like these like little sub pockets. I think, it's for better or worse. I don't know.
Yeah, it just is what it is. It's just interesting. Yeah. I mean, even within America, you go to the South, more dubstep pops off.
Yeah.
Right.
And the East Coast dubstep.
And they seem like really committed to staying in the bass dubstep zone.
Oh, yeah. Like house music is pretty small there. I mean,
yeah,
it's getting bigger, like because of like Chris Lake and Fishers and
the John Summits of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But dubstep is still just like, or just bass music, whatever you want to call it, is still like king in the South for sure.
Yeah, it's like I think it's kind of like a lack of resources kind of with other regions where it's like they don't get a lot, but like there's maybe one thing will be really specialized. So it's like, there's guys that like maybe don't tour, you don't see their names anymore, but they just crush in the South and like, the Bible Belt.
My theory is always like it's an experience-based thing when it comes to that, because I'm like, it's hard when you don't have clubs in those cities, right? You don't have clubs where the house music thrives, right? It's like you go to a Miami where things are open until the morning and the afternoon, and that's where house music thrives, right? Because you're like, that's the experience people go for. But that doesn't exist in somewhere in Texas or, something like that. So they're just kind of sticking to like the big festivals that do it really well, and they do bass music well, so...
Yeah, I mean, some people, like, if they're in South Carolina, they're like, oh, we never got it. I got to see Adventure Club once at the House of Blues, when they maybe come to our city. And so we do have in these, us coastal elites, I think, are a little spoiled.
Oh, God. Well,
no. I do think like East Coasters are like harder. Like I grew up on the East Coast.
Are you from New York?
No, I grew up I was born in Jersey, grew up in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Lived in New York for a bit, lived in DC for a bit, whatever. And East Coasters are just like rough around the edges, and that bleeds into like Midwest and South. It's like it's all the kind of the same.
Yeah.
Not the same, but like
same vibe.
I mean, if you look at the population map of the United States, there's like a clear divide where like it's super populated on the east side, and then like it's not as populated on the west. And I think it like I really think there's like correlation to that. Like everyone's just like chiller over here,
west of the Mississippi,
and then these people are just like rough around the edges.
Yeah,
like.
Yeah, well, that is like one of the things that my East Coast friends always say when they like move out here and they've got like a particular sense of humor or like they bust your balls and then they're like, everyone in LA is so sensitive, man. They think I hate them.
Yeah,
and it's
we're
like
soft.
we're just
soft
how we
and
talk.
Relaxed, okay? We're soft and relaxed people.
Well, and I think that plays into the music.
Yeah,
I think it's everything.
Definitely.
It's just like it's a cultural thing, I guess.
Well, Valerie and I came from the blog world, and so did you to some degree. So like. Your first breakthrough into the music industry was with a band.
Yeah.
And so tell us about like what the name of the band was, like how you formed and all about that.
So yeah, the band was called Innerpartysystem. If anybody wants to check it out. We're still on Spotify, all that stuff. Yeah, we still have some fans. I get DMs once in a while.
I've definitely downloaded your music.
When are you guys coming back? But we're literally never coming back. It's never happening.
It's confirmed.
All right, make a clip of that. We'll post that one for sure.
Yeah.
Never. Sorry, Innerpartysystem fans. It's never happening.
No.
Because it's just not worth it to us, any of us anymore. We're all like good friends, but like we'd have to like practice and stuff. Like we're not gonna do that.
That was a past era for you. So what phase of life or how old were you when that started?
I probably started when it was like I just dropped out of college and Patrick, the lead singer, they were in bands before in my hometown. There was like a crew of us that all played like together, and like it was kind of like a little music scene in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Nice.
So if any like touring dudes are listening, they might know a place called the Silo. It was like one place people used to come.
And that's in Reading?
Yeah, Reading, Pennsylvania.
Cool.
That's where I grew up.
For the heads.
Yeah, Reading, what's up?
And anyway, basically, like, these guys that I always thought were, like, really good musicians, and I jammed with them a few times, and they wanted to start a new band that was, like, half electronic, half rock, and they knew I would, like, make beats and stuff, so they asked me to join. And Patrick, the lead singer, is also a really good beat maker, and he still does it, actually.
Oh, nice.
He does a lot of stuff. And Jared. All of them, actually. And so, yeah, joined the band. I really liked the music that Patrick had written, so I kind of just like picked up everything. I went and like moved in with him, and we started making a bunch of music. We put it on MySpace.
Hell yeah.
And we kind of blew up off of MySpace. Not blew up, but like we had one song get big. And then, dude, back then, like, labels, if you put your number on MySpace, labels would just call you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
we were just talking to Bright Lights about this and a lot of other people from the era. Yeah, it was a huge A&R tool.
Yeah.
So that's how you got your first break.
So basically we got signed to Island Def Jam because of that.
Nice.
Because of MySpace.
Yeah.
Incredible. I love it.
And first it was a subsidiary, like basically just a sub-label that was like indie.
Yeah.
And then we did that. It was an upstreaming deal, so we got the upstream. If you know what that means, they give you like a huge advance and like, we're gonna make you the next Killers. Basically, that's what they told us.
So was your sound like it was more electro?
Yeah, it was.
Rock?
Like, it was more like songwriting, like songs. It was honestly, it's kind of like the 1975.
Oh, okay.
But they're like a really good version of us. They
perfected the model.
They're so good. And
well,
like,
but that was the charm of the music of that era, is that it wasn't perfected. It was kind of
like our first EP sounds like shit.
Yeah.
Like because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing making beats, and it's fine, whatever. But the songwriting was good, and but yeah, that was my life for like 6-7 years. It was actually around the same time that like Justice kind of started popping off right at the same time as us, and we loved them. We were like, we all want to be like Justice, but without realizing it, we were like a different thing. Like we should have just gone with like the songwriting route.
Yeah,
but
did you say you toured with some other like similar bands in the scene?
Yeah, we toured with Pendulum. Actually.
Yeah. Cool.
We toured with like the Presets. Do you remember that?
Yeah. The Presets opened for Daft Punk. in Australia, but the presets were sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they're sick as fuck.
They are great. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. We did a bunch of stuff. I mean, we actually did pretty well in the UK.
Yeah.
So we would go to the UK a bunch, and yeah. I mean, long story short, that was my life for like 6 years, and then we were kind of in the electronic scene. Like we did some remixes. I got on like the Bloghouse.
You were based in New York at the time with them?
Yeah. During then, I was living there.
So that was like the heyday of like the electro clash.
Totally, yeah. We would go to shit tons of parties, and like I actually that's where I met AC Slater back then.
Yep, yeah.
And like Drop the Lime. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, for sure. AC Slater, Dropped the Lime, and that whole crew.
Yeah, Trouble and Bass.
Treble, yeah, Treble and Bass.
Trouble and Bass. Yeah.
They had this. I think they had a side project called Machines Don't Lie. There's just like a lot of good stuff. Para One.
Whoa. Having like flashbacks.
Yeah,
right
it's just like these are names. Well, because there was Coachella 2009. It was like Drop the Lime, Sirkin, Para One. They like all opened.
Yeah.
And I remember that was the first time I got to see like those guys because you'd just see their names in like the New York scene. They were in the LA guys. So yeah.
It kind of sounds like the early start of the band. Did you feel like you guys got thrown into it really fast? Because it feels like you kind of, the way you describe it, it sounds like you just started making music and then very quickly were picked up and were like thrown on tour.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, we were like doing like local shows for like a year before it actually happened. But I mean, in retrospect, it was fast.
Yeah, a year's fast.
I mean, it was a big record deal that we got. Like that was like
an old school advance.
Yeah, it was like, what the fuck?
Like it's happening.
I remember our manager saying like, this is probably one of the last like deals like this that'll ever be done. Like everything's changing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, MySpace was like the last bastion of like before it went purely to, I feel like social.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And like
the
streaming
SoundCloud
and
era
everything.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you guys? You know, if you think back to the after the post year, after the deal, besides the excitement of actually doing it and getting the deal, what was it like for you guys?
I mean, it was that was like some of the best times of my life for sure. Like those guys are like my brothers, and actually, Jesse, the one guy that was in the band, was there last night at Hard.
Oh really?
Yeah, he
That's amazing.
Yeah, he does so he actually does backline for Flume.
Oh,
cool.
sick.
Yeah, and Mahid Jordan.
Okay.
Majid Jordan, however you say it.
Yeah.
And his name's Jesse. Shout out my boy Jesse. I saw him last night.
Yo, shout out Jesse. Thanks for coming through.
And you guys were fully on tour as a band.
Yeah, he was in the band, and yeah, I mean it was so fun. We did a bunch of UK tours. We did Australia once, and yeah, I was like 21, 22, so it was super fun.
Touring as a band is so different.
Oh my
right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we didn't like make shit for money touring because we'd have to, there was no money in touring. We'd actually get tour support. That's what the label did. They would give us tour support to like go do tours. And yeah, we'd have to tour in a van and trailer, no flights. So it was rough, dude.
Struggling.
But you got to do the experience.
Oh yeah, like I said, it was some of the best times of my life. I did Warped Tour twice.
Oh, sick!
I think actually.
So cool.
So what was that like? Because a lot of people reminisce about that. So heavy.
It was actually hell. No, it was like
Tell us more.
People say it's the best and worst time of your life.
Yeah.
Like it fucking sucks, dude, because being in a band, you gotta load in your shit, right? So you'd have to load in like half a mile to the stage sometimes.
Oh my god.
Or something ridiculous, and then and then you're sharing a bus for months with dudes. Like bus tours are not nice, dude. Like
not glamorous.
And everyone like gains weight and like just like comes back just like
drunk
haggard.
all the time. I assume.
Yeah, drunk all the time.
Yeah.
And,
but it is a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah,
and you meet tons of people. I mean, that's the other thing. I met a lot of people in those years too that have kind of helped me into this. Like actually, Skrillex is one of them. Sonny. So like towards the end of Innerpartysystem, Skrillex was blowing up.
Okay.
And actually, Sonny's old band opened for us.
Oh, really? From first to last?
Not from first to last.
No, his older band.
He had one in between that and Skrillex.
Oh, is okay. Yeah.
It was like I think he was. I'm not sure. It was like I forget exactly what it's called. Some like Sonny super fans will know what it's called.
Yeah.
I could say
insert here.
Please insert in the comments. Yeah.
And it was like him and like 4 other guys, and it was like kind of like electronic and like kind of like Tool-ish. It was pretty cool.
Interesting.
But he was learning Ableton at the time. And I remember seeing him like backstage and stuff, just always on his computer. And back then I was like, he kind of was like, he wasn't as good of a producer back then, but he like, you could tell he was still had that like drive, and it was inspiring to see, and it like made me want to like produce more too, just seeing him like that.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
But basically I watched his whole fucking career explode.
Yeah.
I saw him, I knew him then, and then he started Skrillex. I remember seeing him in LA at some point and talking, and he was like, I'm gonna start a label. He was talking about Alsla, I think. And then like literally like 6 months later, like I think Deadmau5 picked up his EP. Is that how he blew up? Like right on
Scary Monsters.
Yeah.
Nice Sprites. Yeah.
And then he blew the fuck up, and
you're like, that guy opened for me.
well, and then I saw and then a couple years later, he was already huge. He started Alsla, and then the band broke up, and I wanted to keep doing electronic music, and I still had Sonny's number, so I actually sent him the EP. It's called the Framework EP, and it came out on Nest.
Wow.
And that was like one of the first releases as Wuki.
I remember. That's
a great story.
I do remember that EP on Nest. Shout out Nest HQ for.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a great time. So this is about like, what are we saying, like 2015-ish, 20?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people. Now, if you listen to this podcast, you're probably gonna hear me say this every week.
Oh no.
But a lot of people really reminisce about that particular era in the mid 2010s.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Because a lot of people feel like that height of SoundCloud and the last bastion of blogs really felt like a unhindered kind of creative time where like things could just get picked up. Like you had a collective, you had a label, it could just blow up, you know?
Totally.
And not saying that can't happen again, but Brownies Lemonade came up through then, and a lot of other promoters and a lot of other artists and independent things came from that. We were just talking about it yesterday because we did the 5-year Alsla anniversary with Sonny at like Les Jardins in Hollywood.
Oh,
yeah. It was,
this year?
This was in 2016.
Oh, in 2016. Okay,
yeah.
That was
yeah. If we did it this year, I think you probably would have been there. I think people would have showed up. But we were just thinking about how crazy it was. You know, it was like Sonny. It was just like 500 kids, just like right there. It was Sonny and What's So Not and Bauer and Valentina.
Actually, that makes me think of you remember the Housela compilation?
Oh yeah,
I went to that party, and that was like
the warehouse party.
Yeah, it was like Chris Lake, Sonny,
Gary Richards.
Yeah, it was a very strange venue. I remember.
Yeah,
that.
You were there. Were you there?
I was there.
We were all there.
We were all there.
I love how all three of us were at that.
But it was cool. It was almost like a.
It was very underground, very LA underground.
That was like a art space.
Like
That's an art space that I had
I'd
actually been there before.
Yeah.
But someone's getting paged. But yeah, I mean, like, what was the? So I think that the difference was that like Skrillex was there at this party in 2016. And you're just not going to get that access anymore. I just think that I just don't know if we like. I know people are doing the pop-up thing now, but there was just something about that time where it just felt like we could do things like the Housela release party. I just don't think you could do that as much anymore, you know?
That's interesting because I actually think you can, but I feel like people don't.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Well,
or it feels different.
You need like
that's what it
the
is.
artist behind it. I mean, Sonny was kind of like spearheading all that, and that's what made it so.
And there was like a real excitement around that. And it's interesting, right? Because it's like you think about, okay, who's the somewhat equivalent of the era currently, and we think of someone maybe like a Fisher or a John Summit or something like that.
Yeah.
And there are moments where they're artists like that are doing kind of like special experiences for their fans, but it feels different, right? It feels a little
yeah.
I actually think like Knock to an ISO are those guys right now.
Yeah.
Those guys are fucking like it's their moment. They're fucking awesome. That whole crew.
Yeah, and
Remke is dope as fuck.
Oh yeah, the San Diego kids. I mean, we threw a party in an underground tunnel system in San Diego with ISOXO. You know, it's like there are those pop-up things, those renegades, but I like you're saying, it's just something about like, but there's the time and place where it felt a little different then, and maybe it's just because that was like that era and it could just not be replicated again.
Yeah.
But like you could do the same thing and it won't feel the same way, right?
Sure.
But
yeah,
I think that
it just feels a little different.
It just feels a little different, but maybe that's our bias.
Yeah. Maybe we're
I
just
think
getting
so.
You know, maybe that's our bias.
I think so. I mean, we were having a bit of a conversation before we started recording about, the value of a normie fan. And I say that in the most loving of terms. Like a normie fan is, just someone who is just genuinely a casual fan and they show up and they buy the tickets. They're coming all the time. And there's something really valuable about those people,
Right.
I think they still exist, just in a different form now.
Yeah.
I was saying, like, people that are like in the music industry, sometimes we get so obsessed with music and like our life is music that we forget for a lot of other people it's just kind of music's more just like a passing thing for them. They like it and they love it and they always use it when they work out and everything, but it's not something that like consumes their brain all day.
Totally.
Totally. For me, that like I literally like don't stop thinking about music kind of.
Yeah.
So like I have to remind myself that like there's just kind of like those I don't want to say basic or normie.
No, it's just like it's just everyday people.
Casual,
Yeah.
or like
casual fans.
or any fan that isn't just like I don't know, like obsessed with music too. They just like it,
Yeah.
Well,
And
yeah.
that's what like TikTok has kind of helped with.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, I think that like I've always thought about music and following music and being aware of like the artists and the labels and all this stuff is like following sports. Like you could just have it on and you're like, oh, I know who Patrick Mahomes is. I watch football every now and then, but you don't have a fantasy league or you don't follow one team intently. But we're the people who are like diehards. We like know every player on the team and we watch every game and like that's the music equivalent. Not everyone needs to have that level of investment to enjoy it. And I also think that by knowing too much, sometimes it can actually take away from the experience. Because sometimes I wish I didn't look at something and then think like, oh, I wonder like the production budget on this, or like I wonder how this person talked to who to get it's like you started seeing it from this other you almost can't put the blinders back on. I don't know if you feel that way.
No, yeah, sometimes or if you like overanalyze a track, but I feel
do you see music that way, or do you listen to music sometimes that way, and like an analytical kind of?
I've kind of maybe let go. I've maybe used to be more like that. Like, I don't like that kick, but like, I think now, now I don't. I think I've kind of let go of it. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious. I was thinking about a question earlier when we were talking about your music and production because I was thinking about. If I put myself in the shoes of maybe like a younger producer who like looks up to you and like looks at the music and the videos and all the production experimentation that you're doing, how do you decide between, the contrarian in me wants to be like, okay, sometimes doing an edit almost feels like the easy thing to do, right? Because it's like the fun music that already kind of exists and to like put a new version out there, it's almost like going to be a crowd pleaser in one perspective. How do you like balance that feeling when you're like, okay, is it the right time to do that versus like make your own music? Like it's kind of a
I mean, it is there's definitely something to be said about making like completely original music from scratch. It does it's like you're gonna own all the pub, you're gonna own all and you can put it out for real with no hassle, and like you can own everything on it, and if it blows up, like and it's all yours, that's better. It's all original. But I don't know. Those are like doing bootlegs and remixes and edits. They might have like a different benefit than just that. Like a benefit could be, every DJ wants to play it. Like if you make something that goes off in the club, doesn't matter who made it, what it's made of, or whatever, DJs will play it.
Yeah.
Right? Like that is the one, like there's no discrimination at all as does it crush on the dance floor? That's the only thing that matters.
Does it
right?
make people dance?
Yeah. So it could be anything in it, and if it's new and unique and fresh, people are gonna play it. And that you could have a lot of benefit with that too. It doesn't matter if it comes out for real or whatever. Like one example is my da 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 edit.
Yeah.
That literally every DJ in the world played that, but I never put it out for real. But like everyone played it, and it did help me a lot. And I didn't really make any money off it per se, but I probably got shows.
Yeah.
I probably got stuff like that.
Well, see, that's like a
awareness.
really important thing to take note of if people are aspiring artists right now and they're like listening to this, because a lot of people ask me like, how do I break in? How do I start booking shows? How do I get people to like fuck with me and stuff? And I'm like, dude, you gotta just get people to play your music. Like, it's not even like, because people are like, oh, my streaming numbers are good.
Yeah.
I'm putting out this much content per week, and I'm like, it's not like these rigid things, Like I think numbers only go so far,
Right.
because when you see in other like genres of music, like people can have like 4 million monthly listeners, but they can't get 300 people in a room,
Right.
But in dance music, you could have like 600,000 monthly listeners and sell out the Palladium.
Totally.
So the main thing is getting your music in DJs' sets, and I think you can attest to that.
No, 100%. That's like, make stuff that DJs want to play, and you'll get bigger for sure, and get more recognition and probably shows.
Yeah, it's a really interesting like kind
that
of
is
period.
No, it's a good perspective. It's a good thing to keep in mind, because I feel like that's the conversation that I see nowadays, right? Is like, I mean, Chad and I have talked about it a lot of as far as like the sample trend right now. I feel like it's really hitting its peak, and so as a observer of producers, I always think about like, how do you think about what you're doing there? But that makes total sense.
And it's also the essence of dance music too.
Of course,
Daft Punk was all samples.
Yep.
And so it's still kind of like staying true to the essence of like dance music. I mean, it's like it's actually kind of like hip hop in a way. It's like it kind of came around the same time, like electronic, sample based, and like I don't know, like kind of worrying about the sample later, just like doing it. Like back then.
We'll make it work later.
Yeah.
There's obviously some cases where that was more difficult than others, but for you, I think it's interesting because more recently you've had these amazing releases that have the full label backing of like Edge of 17 and stuff like that. So tell us about like what it's like to work with music from that catalog that has that much history and stuff behind it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess now because of these like Instagram and TikTok videos, I've gotten to like kind of a point in my career where I can like basically my label deal, like they want to clear stuff for me. That's like because they saw like a lot of the viral videos, so they want to like, like we can make some of these work.
Yeah,
we have access to these whatever you need to get stuff cleared, which it takes a lot to get stuff cleared. Like you could either you actually clear the sample, like the actual recording, or you could do something that's called a replay, where you actually get someone to re-sing the vocal or replay the parts or something.
Yeah.
And then you just, I forget what it is, but you don't get the pub on that or something. You just get the master or something.
something.
I'm not the industry expert, honestly. I know what it is, but I just don't know the
names.
Whatever.
Totally.
The nuts and bolts.
Totally.
Yeah.
And basically, but now that I'm at a point, like I could kind of like, before I do a bootleg or if I have an idea, I could actually hit up some people and be like, yo, you think we could clear this? And they're like, yeah, I think we could.
Yeah.
And so now, it's pretty sweet. I could like, I mean, I still try to just do stuff that I like to do anyway, but they also send me like playlists where they're like, hey, you could use any of these tracks if you want.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's a really cool place I'm in right now.
Yeah.
It's good for the labels because like I saw recently that some of the major labels.
I just make them more money. They love me.
Or this back catalog that'll never go anywhere ever. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to talk about obviously the song you have coming out on September 1st.
Yeah.
So it's in the same vein.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. My next single is gonna be it's a sample of My Girl by The Temptations.
Wow.
And
was that part of the playlist that they give you?
I don't think it was actually.
Okay.
I just wanted to do that.
This has been in your repertoire for a while.
Yeah. I made the bootleg like a year ago. I posted it as a beat I can't release.
Yeah.
But
now
Here
it's
we are.
going to be actually released.
We're going to release it soon.
Also, if you've listened to the Brownies Lemonade 10 for 10 mix, it was
I put it in there.
Yeah,
shit.
I love that one.
Yes. But yeah, it's coming out next month. It's starting to get some good support already, which is awesome. It's just a feel good. I think I remixed it really cool. It's super simple. I just like, I mean, if you go check on Fisher's Instagram, you could hear it actually.
Oh, yeah, so he played that one out?
Yeah. Not only did he's been playing it out, but he posted a video of it, which is like huge,
Nice.
man.
Nice.
Yeah.
The Fisher effect is real. Like everyone's like
The ID question mark.
yeah,
effect.
for sure.
And I think that
Yeah.
also it's like not just like the super overt like samples or songs that everyone knows. Like obviously, you know, if you were to put out a Barbie girl edit right now, I'm sure it's like
Right.
very on the nose. But the Temptation song, and then also I saw Noizu and he played his like Smokey Robinson,
Right.
Ooh Baby Baby. And it's just like such a vibe because like
Mm.
everyone's heard that song, even
Yeah.
if they don't even know who it's by.
Mm.
And it's just like there's just like such a good feeling, you know.
I
It's like-
love sampling old music because
Yeah.
it kind of sounds like pretty cool and trippy in the context of electronic music, like
Yeah.
adding like verbs and like making it sound like big and trippy. It's
Mm.
cool. I actually think it's a really cool juxtaposition.
Yeah. That's great. So it's coming out and beats we can actually release.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I'm really excited about this one. I think it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Good summer tune for sure.
Yeah. Get the DJs to play it. They
yeah,
already are.
Yeah, I mean it's cool to see the evolution. I mean, for someone like you're saying, you've been around now for quite a while in this music industry and just this like evolution. Now you've kind of gone in this new direction, and a lot of it came from the pandemic, which kind of seemed like a net positive for you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was definitely tough for a few years. I mean, I moved back to Denver because of it. Didn't necessarily want to leave LA, but it just made sense.
Yeah.
And yeah. I mean, the beats I can't release have been definitely a net positive, and yeah. I mean, to me, this is just house is like the glue that holds dance music together. Like I've always made house, and I could see a lot of potential in like what I do, like with the remixing and like making it into house music and getting like other DJs to play it, like we were just saying.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, it makes sense for me to go in this direction right now. And I might make a hip hop EP in a year or something, and whatever.
There's no
Well, said
rules.
earlier.
There's no rules.
Because I'm actually sitting on a bunch of hip hop shit that I
Ooh.
still really like. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's a part of the fabric of like, you know, your whole career as Wuki. But we've been talking to some people, like including Chrome Bodies, they're saying that like right now is just a time to just like not take yourself so seriously and just kind of have fun.
Yeah.
You know, is that something that resonates with you?
For sure, yeah. I mean, look at my whole like
You're like everything.
Yeah.
Look at it all.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like we said, just have fun with it, and whatever that means to you. I mean, it's fine if you want to be serious, but if that's fun to you and that's what you want to do, well, go for it.
Yeah.
And just have fun along the way too. That's
I
all
mean,
I
I
would
think
say.
it's a great example too, because I feel like as an artist, I think we've had a couple conversations and heard from people that like it can be scary to deviate from what people eventually come to expect from you, like the first music you start putting out there and all that stuff. But it seems like, and tell us about your experience with your fans. Like they're just kind of down for everything that you're putting out there, right? Like the fun stuff, the
Totally.
serious stuff, the house stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people just are starting to resonate with just like the like like no boundaries and just kind of like doing some silly shit too. Like people act pretty funny at my shows or wear funny stuff sometimes.
Well,
Do they?
I was
I want to
just
hear more about that.
yeah,
What are they
because
wearing
you
at
did
your
a Beats I Can't
shows?
Release tour.
Yeah.
Right? For the most part, right? And it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sure a lot of the people came from
Yeah, some people wear like Mario outfits and like
They're like, I want to hear
like,
that beat
like
specifically.
animal outfits and stuff.
That's so
And I bring
cute.
a bunch of inflatable horses.
That's
Oh
so,
my god,
yeah.
amazing.
And just different inflatables and stuff.
Yeah, there's like a great photo of Wookie DJing at a Time nightclub.
Oh, yeah.
He was on the lemon slice inflatable in the crowd.
Oh my god.
That's the best photo of me ever. It's that Brownies Lemonade
Sounds like
party.
The best one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so do you feel like when you go to the shows, and maybe it doesn't really, you don't see it this way. I kind of see it this way, but like where you look out in the crowd and you're like, oh yeah, they definitely came from TikTok. Or they definitely came. Do you see that sometimes?
If they come up and like say hi after, sometimes I can kind of tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
In what way? Like, as in they don't know anything about your other music, sort of thing?
Yeah, maybe they're not
Okay.
like huge dance. They're not like ravers.
They're just fans of you.
Yeah, maybe.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a really interesting pipeline as a fan too.
Totally.
Yeah.
No, that's cool, man.
Well, because I noticed it after the pandemic. There was a bunch of beautiful girls that were coming to the shows. Now I was like, what? When did this happen? It's like usually dudes.
Where did all these gals come from?
Actually, some kids have been fans too, like
actual kids.
Yeah, like children,
God.
like 12-year-olds. Like I played a couple shows with two friends.
Yeah.
And I think they were all ages, some of them.
Oh my gosh.
Some of them were like big Wuki fans.
Showed
yeah.
up. That's
amazing.
Because if you think about it, they're probably flipping through TikTok.
They're
too,
on
and
TikTok
they see
for
it.
sure,
Yeah.
listening to your Nintendo flips and beats. Yeah.
And I remember seeing a security guard somewhere. I forget where. It's maybe happened once or twice. Where like, hey, my daughter loves you. Can I get a picture with you?
Oh, that's awesome.
Precious. I love that.
So
That's
yeah,
great.
I mean that's totally cool
fans
with me,
for
man.
life,
Yeah, I don't
honestly.
give a
You know?
shit. Yeah,
Ticket
that's
buyer
awesome.
for life, I would say.
Yeah.
Well, you could take it from someone like you to utilize the tools that you have now to open yourself up to like this whole, kind of new audience, new world out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really get to pick your fans; they kind of pick you. So,
Do you think there's just kind of like an unnecessary kind of either kind of like pushback against TikTok or short form being such an important component of musicians' careers right now?
yeah, some people definitely. I mean, at its worst, it could be pretty frustrating. I think for sure. Like, and yeah, I don't know how to put it. I mean, I guess it's like a necessary evil, and you just have to learn how to have fun with it, and like not worry if it doesn't blow up. Like that's another thing about music is like sometimes people get like too like up and coming producers or like get too obsessed with like one song or one release, and it's like just move on to the next one. Maybe that'll work better, or just try a different idea.
Yeah.
And I think most people just like overthink it and like get inside their own heads, and like then they kind of like hate on it. Where like it could be anything, dude. Like I think if I was a social media manager, I would just tell people to like put your phone up and just like look and like mouth lyrics or just like dance, like just sit there and like
silly thing,
don't
right?
even make a caption. You don't have to make a caption. Like I don't care. Just do anything. Just start doing it.
Yeah.
Because you never know what could like pop off. And yeah, I mean, I get it. There's pushback, but I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I mean,
If you love your music and you could. I mean, you don't have to do it either. There are ways to blow up outside of social media. Like you don't have to play the game of that way.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I do see some artists. I don't know if you see the same thing, Val, but I do see some artists, and I've talked to them who begrudgingly are playing that game where it feels like you see the Instagram reel and you're like, this is a manager mandated
Oh my gosh,
post.
yeah.
Right,
Are you being held by gunpoint to film this? Like, how are we doing this, No, I agree. And I mean, I feel like the resounding lesson there is just do what's authentic to you, right? Like, if you're not the kind of person that's doing fun flips and beats, like, don't try and do that, right? Like, do whatever feels right to you as an artist or a person.
And what you did was right to you, and it spawned a million copycats,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an audience out there for
and you're just like, I
everything,
just did two shots of me. Reverse shot.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so you didn't even know what was gonna work for you,
No, not really. Yeah, like I said, if you look back, like on my accounts, I was just playing around with other shit, just with the computer, like the phone pointed at my computer screen or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah, you just gotta do if you want to.
if you want
to use this tool that could reach millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
And
It's
get
out
your
there.
music heard. You can learn to use it, and you probably should.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah, Gen Z's stupid too. They're not like amazing at it either.
They're just like a little less afraid of being cringe.
Yeah.
Is what I think it is. Like, we're just terrified of being cringe.
So the NPC.
Our generation was like traumatized by like you post something on the internet, it's there forever. I still have that in my head, like every time I post anything, Whereas Gen Z's like, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Wait, I thought it was the opposite. We would upload like 50 photos like from an Olympus camera, and everyone had red eyes with a fucking cup in their hand. And like that is up there. That's why I deleted
that was
my
us
Facebook.
rebelling. That was us rebelling. And that's why we had deleted all of them, because we were like,
you were tagged in those photos, Val.
Okay.
I definitely was. Definitely.
But yo, thank you so much for coming in and like tell us what you got coming up. Obviously the release on 9/9/1.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I have a new song coming out September 1st. My Girl. Actually, it's called Sunshine parentheses My Girl.
There you go.
We had to change the name.
That's good.
But yeah, coming out soon. I'll check all my socials. I'll have it out.
I'm sure you'll hear it. If
Yeah,
you're listening now, I'm sure you'll hear it.
Yeah, I mean, just honestly, like if you follow me on socials, everything's gonna be there. Playing a couple festivals the rest of the year, like Breakaway and what's the one in Chicago? North Coast.
Cool.
And then I think a couple other, like one or two more. I'm going to Hawaii, I know, which was sweet.
I love that for you.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, you're going to be a Breakaway in San Francisco, right?
Right.
Yeah. So you'll see him Brownies Lemonade stage.
There you go.
We're getting the band back together.
Oh, yeah.
Not the old band he was in, but like the
that one's confirmed. Not getting back together. Don't forget.
Team Band L. Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Wuki, for coming in.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
It wasn't so bad, right?
That was great.